In this video, I interview Michael Jackson's illusion designer, Franz Harary. We discuss Franz and Michael's 26-year-long friendship, some of the illusions Franz created for Michael's tours, some of the hidden secrets that Franz created in Neverland, and stay tuned to the end where Franz performs a magic trick on us. Keep watching here on Red Jackson Dance. Joining now is the wonderful Franz Harary, who worked as the illusions designer for Michael for several years.
Right. When I was, for 26 years.
Wow.
But the first one was 84 on the Jackson's Victory Tour when I was 22 years old. I was a little kid, way out of my league. In retrospect, it's crazy that I was there. Yeah.
So what inspired you to pursue a career in magic in the first place?
Well, when I was a kid, 13 years old, which was only, 9 years before I met Michael, I got a magic set for my birthday. And I found myself fascinated with not how the tricks work, but why they work. The psychology of it all. You know, how can a 13-year-old kid suddenly do something that an adult can't? That's very empowering, you know, to be able to do something that your family, your parents can't do, your teacher can't do. So the idea that was possible, it amazed me. So very quickly, I started kind of analyzing these little toys and stuff, and then inventing my own all through, high school and then into college. I was always like inventing magic. I was able to convince the director of the University of Michigan marching band into letting me create magic for the halftime shows, halftime of the football shows.
Yeah.
And in that, and again, this is me at 18, 19, 20 years old, I kind of taught myself how to do magic in a stadium in the day, surrounded by fans, in it's a hostile audience. They don't want to see magic, they want to see football. But there I was, doing these illusions for these halftime shows, and it taught me this weird skill set of being able to do magic for very large audiences in a stadium. So when Michael announced that he was going on tour, I thought I got to do this. I got to get a hold of him. I got to get in there. So I took a VHS videotape of myself doing some stuff for the marching band, making a car appear in a football stadium actually, and I gave it to my agent in Michigan. And he said, okay, I said, send this to Michael's manager, and I want to do this. So every day or two, I would call the agent. Did you hear anything? What do you know? Did you hear anything? And after like a month, the agent says, look, man, I didn't even send the tape off. Just forget it. You're never going to get a hold of Michael Jackson. And I was so crazy. At the same time, right about then, if I remember this correctly, he had burned his hair on the Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
And so they said the name of his attorney on television, and I wrote it down, and I called the attorney and said, my name is Franz Harary. I'm a 21-year-old magician from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I was pitching, And he said, well, you don't need to talk to me. You need to talk to somebody with the record company. So I called that person, and they said, no, it's not me. You need to talk to management. And this went on until I talked to like 7 or 8 people. And by the time I got to the right person, I had it down. I'm Franz Harary. I'm an illusion designer from Michigan, specializing in stadium, blah, blah, blah. And so Peyton Wilson, who was the production manager for that tour, he goes, all right, let me fly you out. So I couldn't believe it. Suddenly I'm leaving Michigan. I'm about to get onto a plane to fly to LA to meet my idol, this demigod who I worshiped. And I met him, and Michael and I were a similar age at the time. So we just clicked right away. We became friends. And the next thing you know, I'm designing these illusions with all these mega stars of the music industry and little old me. And by the way, I was in college at the time. I was on my 4th year of what would have been a music scholarship. I thought I'm going to go to Broadway and be a New York singer-dancer. And I was still taking tests. I had a friend of mine, sending me homework. So I was still doing homework for college while I was going to the set every day, working with Michael. I never graduated. But a couple of years ago, my university gave me an honorary doctorate. So I guess that tells you
That makes up for
don't
it.
don't don't, don't go to kids' school. It doesn't. Kid, forget it. The school doesn't matter. You do good, they're going to give you to anyway. That's the lesson I learned. So yeah, so I did that tour, and beyond learning what the industry was like, I became friends with Michael because
Yeah.
we're the same age, we live magic, and so after the tour went on. It's going over to his house every week or two to do magic. I remember I used to go to the magic shop in LA and buy a bunch of magic. And in fact, when we were on tour with the Victory Tour, every city we would go to, I would go to the local magic shop, buy a bunch of magic toys and tricks. Then after the show, after the concert, follow him in the van. It was a big black minivan back to the hotel, which was a very weird, surreal feeling. When I got to the hotel, the end goal was room service and doing magic tricks together. But to get there, I remember um, after every concert, they would shoot off fireworks, and the audience would watch the fireworks, and this would give time for Michael and the band members to get
Yeah.
out of the stadium because
Yeah.
otherwise it's a roadblock.
Carnage. Yeah.
It's just traffic from hell. So I used to jump in that van with him and head off to the hotel, and it was the weirdest, surreal experience. I remember clearly like it was yesterday because you got anywhere from 40 to 70,000 people screaming and going crazy, a ridiculous amount of energy. And suddenly you're in a quiet van, and suddenly you're leaving and you're driving away from the stadium, watching the fireworks in the background, and suddenly everything's gone, everything's stopped, and it's you and Michael in a van. Sometimes he'd have one of his assistants there with him, Janet Henry Gershenfeld. Now at the time, one of the costumers used to come sometimes, but it was very weird going from all this
Yeah.
energy to
To
nothing,
nothing.
very quiet. And then he'd be completely sweaty, so he would towel himself off in the van and get to the room. And again, he'd like take a shower and get all clean. And I'm playing with magic tricks, whatever we're going to play with that night. And that was the Victory Tour. But that also sort of solidified my friendship with him.
Yeah.
So after that, I designed a ridiculous amount of magic for a Neverland Ranch. So Neverland Ranch is rigged top to bottom with illusions.
Really?
He can actually appear and disappear and float in the air and do stuff for his friends anytime he wanted, pretty much anywhere. And I don't know that the person who bought it knows that. They're probably still discovering
Yeah.
hidden passages everywhere. Oprah, I haven't talked about this stuff for decades. So the fact that you're asking me, I'm just going to machine
No,
gun
I
all this
love it.
stuff out of
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
because what
It's
happens is one
fascinating.
story reminds me of another story. So
Yeah.
Oprah
That's what we love.
did an interview with him
Yeah.
at the Neverland Ranch on the stage, as the
Yeah.
stage that was a part of the design actually. And when you look at that video, Oprah is sitting right next to one of the trapdoors, one of the trapdoors that's in the stage. And I
Yeah.
thought if she moves in the wrong place, this could be a really, really bad day for Oprah. So yeah, anyway, so I did all of Neverland Ranch and then, did tours after that, the history tour. Uh,
Yeah.
but the biggest thing, Michael did two things. One, working with Michael opened up the door, and the next thing you know, I'm working for his sister Janet. And at the time, all the superstars, Prince and MC Hammer and everybody. And it continues
Yeah.
on. And even today, I work with Missy Elliott and, everybody. Usher, Justin Timberlake, you can look at my credit list. And that's
Yeah.
not important, but it came because of that reputation of being
Yeah.
Michael's magician.
Yeah. It's once you're
Um,
with Michael, you can sort of go anywhere.
that's what it is. It's your golden ticket because it's
Yeah.
credibility, because he had the reputation of working with the best people. And the more concerts that I designed, the better I became at this until I sort of became the go-to guy for
Okay.
pop concerts, and
Okay.
and I still do, but I don't pursue it as much because I remember in 1988 I was hanging out at his house in Hayvenhurst in Encino, California.
Yeah.
And in fact, I wonder if the house is still there.
It
Yeah,
is.
it
I
should be.
think so.
The
Yeah.
Harry.
I'm pretty
Yeah, oh,
sure.
that'd
I
be
think they
good.
do like parties there every now and
Yeah,
then,
yeah. Well, there
like
was
an
all those
event.
fires, but remember,
Yeah.
LA had all those fires. So in
Mhm.
any case, we're hanging out at the house, and Michael goes, Franz, you're doing all this stuff for me, and that's really cool, but don't you miss it? Don't you want to do it for yourself? And the truth is, yeah, I did, because before I became part of the, Victory Tour, I was doing my own little shows in Michigan. I was doing birthday
Yeah.
parties and bar mitzvahs and car dealership openings. And I did shows for pizza restaurants. That was my life, but I missed
Yeah.
that. So I listened to him and I took everything that I learned from him at that point, which meant show production, but concert music show production. So I produced my first illusion show, big illusion show that looked like a palm concert. So it had sound, light, staging. This is way before LED video, but everything about it um, looked like
It
a
was like a
1980
concert.
pop
Yeah.
picture. So of course I grew my hair real. I had the Bon Jovi hair and the mustache, and I wouldn't leave the house unless I was wearing metal and leather and chains, and
It's
which is fun at the
crazy.
airport when you're wearing chains as as clothing. Airports are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I took that philosophy. Oh, now here's a biggie. Here's my big takeaway.
Yeah.
Michael told me something. He gave me one of the Thriller jackets. Actually, I have one of the. I don't think it's the actual Thriller jacket, but it's one of the. I don't
No
know if it's a,
way.
whatever. It's too small for me. I know that. And inside it, he wrote, uh, "To Franz the Great, never stop striving for excellence." And I should have. I'm in Hong Kong right now doing shows, so this is my dressing room here. The Thriller jacket is in Los Angeles,
Gotta keep it
and
safe.
yeah, yeah. And he gave it to me, and he said, and this really became my mantra. I live with this. He
Mm.
goes, Franz, whatever you do, make sure you do it different and better than anybody before you. And I kept that with me, and I used that
Yeah. Yeah.
for my entire career. Let me show you something. I am in Hong Kong right now. This is my dressing room here,
Yeah.
but here is my show. So
Oh wow.
we finished a show about an hour and a half ago. Everybody's gone home. Here is the equipment. I'll show you some of the equipment over here. All of
It's
this,
so grand.
all of this is from what I learned from working with Michael.
From Michael.
I've got the biggest touring illusion show in the world, and it is at its core a rock concert. It is the only difference is I'm not playing music. I'm doing magic. Here's some of the equipment. This actually, check this out. These are from InSync. InSync's last tour, Dirty Pop Tour. I designed all the magic, and when it was done, I took the equipment back and I used it in my own show. I think it might even say, "Oh yeah, look at there. There's Chris. Who is in this one? I don't know what it says. Anyway, they were,
That's so cool.
So all this stuff are from pop concerts that I designed. And here, I'll walk you out on the stage. Um, it's a massive video display. The video is all turned off right now, so you can't see it, but and there's
That's
the audience.
huge.
Yeah, so
Wow.
um, this exists, and my career exists because of Michael. Because I learned how to do this, how to produce this from hanging out with Michael for 26 years, go to my website, franzharary.com. Maybe you can put it up there,
Yeah.
FranzHarary.com. Go to my website. You'll see everything that I do. And basically, you're looking at a Michael Jackson concert, but it's magic. And that has made my career now since 1984, So I've been very, very fortunate because my magic has taken me around the world, and I've seen incredible things and worked with incredible people, and it all goes back to whatever you do it different and better than anybody before you. And that is completely to the credit of Michael, you know.
Mm. I mean, you must be so grateful to Michael, but also like you being, at that young age, but like having that determination to go out there and like I'm going to contact Michael Jackson? Because I imagine that wasn't
Right.
easy, you know? Like,
I didn't know that I'm not supposed to do that. I didn't know that that's wrong. So I
right.
just did it.
You just did
Since
it.
then I learned that it's not normal, but I
Yeah.
didn't know that it's not
Mm.
normal.
Yeah.
And I know I'm repeating myself now. I never talk about this stuff. I am a strong believer at don't look at the past, and regardless of your successes or whatever you did, just keep looking forward at the next thing. So I really don't talk about Michael Jackson.
This is
If
exclusive.
if you talk to my friends, it's like they all know my history,
Yeah.
but it's not something,
You look forward all
I'm
the
not
time.
wearing a Thriller jacket. Oh,
Yeah.
but I will show you this. I mean,
Yeah.
these are my jackets here. This is about as Michael Jackson as it gets here. These are
Yeah.
all,
All the sequins.
it's
Yeah.
all there. There's a lot of Jackson influence. Here's one of my favorite. Yeah, this is big time
Mm.
Michael Jackson going on here. But it works because I've created in my show, I've created this super real world where
Yeah.
everything is so over the top that it works. It's
Mm.
there's a fine line between looking like Burt Wonderstone, but looking like a tacky Vegas magician and looking like a pop star. So
Yeah.
it's how it's packaged. Michael
Yeah.
was able to carry it off because of who he is, who he was, is, depending on what you believe. For me, I make it clear that I don't believe that I am a superstar rock star, but rather that I'm having a great time,
Mm.
playing dress up. And so it
Yeah.
works. But that's because
Yeah.
of who I
Sounds
am,
like a
you
lot of
know?
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, go to my website, go to Instagram,
For sure.
and it's all there.
Before we continue with the interview, let's take a quick break to thank the sponsor of this video, Michael Jackson Market. Michael Jackson Market are a business created by passionate fans who believe that you should have access to the best quality Michael Jackson memorabilia items at a great price. They provide you with the opportunity to get unique Michael Jackson memorabilia items really, really easily. You can go to their website www.michaeljacksonmarket.com to browse their countless items and even get your hands on one of their Michael Jackson subscription boxes, which are packed with fun items. Each box comes with a custom t-shirt and 7 or 8 other items. So whether it's Michael Jackson Funko Pops, books, cups, chocolate, mini basketballs, gym bags, tote bags, washcloths, stickers, lanyards, pins, t-shirts, or even a keychain of Bubbles the Chimp, don't forget to head to www.michaeljacksonmarket.com and use code REDJACKSON for $10 off all items above $50. Again, that's code REDJACKSON for $10 off all items over $50. Thank you to Michael Jackson Market for sponsoring Red Jackson Dance for 2025. Can we
So,
ask, what were some of the illusions that you created for Michael?
well, the first one was for the Victory Tour. It was, and in retrospect, it was terrible. I watched the video. It's like, oh my God, it was so bad because I didn't know what
No.
the hell I was doing. For the time, it was okay. For the time, it was fine.
Yeah, I
But
imagine
compared
its
to what
whole
I'm,
like magic and
yeah,
ways you can do things have evolved so
yeah.
much
If
since
you
then.
look at the concerts today compared to concerts 40 years ago, it was a different world. So for the time, what
Hmm.
we were doing was state of the art, and it was
Yeah.
pretty good. But today, it's But I did a thing where he floated in the air and
Yeah.
disappeared, and then reappeared on the other side of the stage with his brothers. And then for the history tour, I did this Iron Maiden thing where he transformed into a werewolf, and then
Yeah.
as a werewolf, he got slammed into this coffin with spikes going through it.
Hmm.
Oh, so here's a story.
Yeah.
So that piece of equipment, which unfortunately I don't have here, when it was done, he gave it back to me. He goes, "Here, take this, Franz, and keep our magic alive." And I used that equipment in my show for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I kind of faded away because I get bored, and I brought other stuff. When Michael passed away, I brought it back again because suddenly he's in the news again. But I
Hmm.
did this whole kind of dedication to Michael when Michael was doing it, there were four separate safeties to make sure that he couldn't get hurt, that he couldn't get stabbed or anything bad would happen
Right.
because the whole thing
Yeah.
blew up, all that. When I did it for years. And over time, I got sloppy and thinking I invented this. I'm never going to hurt myself. So I eliminated all the safeties until one day I ended up getting stabbed through the hand with one of these
Oh.
swords. That you can find on YouTube. I think if you go to Franz Harary on YouTube,
Yeah.
maybe it's this accident or Michael Jackson spiker accident or
Oh my
something
God.
like that.
So things
But
do go
you'll
wrong
find
from
it.
time to time.
Oh yeah. Well,
How do
they
you
go
play that
wrong
off?
when you're stupid. You know, it was terrible. It was in Abu Dhabi, and
Yeah.
it was the end of the first half of the show. So I remember getting off stage and I'm bleeding. It's just blood everywhere. And I'm thinking, if I'm going to pass out, then I'm going to do this on camera and I'm going to have footage at least because it's going to be part of the documentary, which is something else that Michael taught me. He said,
So,
whatever you
yeah.
do, you got to make sure it's shot on video. If you don't have a video recording of it, it never happened. So I keep a videographer everywhere I go. I shoot video. So the moment it happened, I go, where's Chris? Where's the video? Where's the camera op? Because if I'm going to pass out right now, I want to be shooting all this. So we were in Abu Dhabi and they didn't speak English and everything was Arabic. And I ended up getting rushed over to a military hospital. And the second half of the show was basically just the dancers, again, because the show looks like a pop concert. So the
Yeah.
dancers did their segment. I had a couple of guest magicians who did their segment. I didn't see the show because I was getting my
Well,
hand
yeah.
fixed in the hospital, but I
Priorities.
heard that it was pretty weird. From what I heard, the audience
Yeah.
suddenly goes, "That's it, it's over, huh? That's it," and they walked out. But it got me a bunch of press. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Did you like ever create anything for Michael that we never saw on stage? Because we know his ideas were really creative and ambitious, weren't
yes,
they?
a lot, a crazy amount. Oh my God! But
Yeah.
here's the problem. Here's the problem. I signed non-disclosure agreements,
Ah.
legal agreements that are in perpetuity forever and ever. So I can't tell you about them because it would be illegal. And
Right.
I assume that more than your mother is going to watch this video. So, but I'll just say a lot,
Wow.
30
Okay.
things maybe. And some of them were for shows, but most of them were for his personal life. Most of them, I just can't tell you, unfortunately,
Can you like repurpose those? Like use them for your show? Or is that like that's
Well, okay, so
Michael's now?
like an artist, every time an artist creates something new, it's a painting or a sculpture or a dance or a song, you'll learn.
Hmm.
So with Michael, I was always challenged to do the next thing. Whatever I do, it's got to be different and better than before. And he had the budget to allow me to spend money on a lot of technology. Worked with a guy named Hugo Zuccarelli who invented holophonics. And we created, I guess I can talk about this. We created um, illusions using three-dimensional sound, which has now been around. This is the late 80s we're talking about. But I I invented a lot of really new stuff
Hmm.
with Michael, with him, basically flipping the bill for it. And then from that, I grew and I learned. And again, the best I can suggest to you is go to my website, franzharary.com. Just click
Yeah.
on the first video you find. Click on the first video because all of that
You can see
is
everything there.
influenced. It's directly influenced by Michael Jackson, directly. And
Yeah.
even though he's not doing it, you can see the influence because he had a
Yeah.
massive, massive impact on my life.
Hmm.
Massive, you know.
Now, I know a big part of the illusions is, all about being kept secret. But is there
Right.
any chance you could explain maybe how one of the ones you did for Michael worked just
I
for us
can
friends today?
explain all, I can, in a weird way, I can explain everything to you. Um, Magic illusions are are achieved by the illusion designer or the magician, in this case me, understanding how people think. and discovering these rhythms of life. When you look at a table, almost always you don't see all four legs of the table, but you assume that that fourth leg is there. And that's where I play. That is the left side of your brain assuming that something you believe to be real must be obvious. If you sit in the front seat of a car, if you're driving a car, you don't see the hood of the car, but you believe it to be true and you assume. So in that world, in that assumed world, that part of your brain, that's the left side of your brain, that's where I play.
Okay.
So by discovering that and by recognizing these rhythms of life, I am to a very, very small degree able to control what you think. And if I can control what you think, I can control what you see. So all magic, all illusions, the answers are right in front of you. And if you look at them like a little kid, if you look at them like a small child, almost always you'll see the answer because they're tapping into the fact that as we grow older, our brains start to hardwire. And what I do is I use that hardwire against you. I can give you an
Right.
example, and you can do this. You can do this right now. I'm going to try to do this while I'm holding my phone.
Okay.
Okay. Right now, if you're sitting down, I hope you are.
Yep.
Okay. Take your foot, take your right foot, and put
Yep.
it in the air and start making a circle, a clockwise circle.
Okay.
Okay. Make a clockwise circle with your foot. Do it right now. Are you
Yeah.
doing it?
I'm doing
All right.
it.
Everybody who's watching this,
I feel a
if
bit
you're watching
stupid,
this,
but I'm doing it.
that's all right. If you're watching it on your phone or your laptop, keep making that clockwise circle with your foot. Now,
Okay.
put your finger in the air, still
Yeah.
making a circle. Don't
Yeah.
stop making that circle with your
Still
foot.
going.
And now, make the letter 6 with your finger
Okay.
and watch what happened to your foot. Did you see it happen?
Yeah.
All right. That's your brain short-circuiting because you're so hardwired. And your whole brain, your whole body is filled with these glitches. And I have found these glitches, and that's how I'm able to create what I do by messing with how the left and right side of your brain talk to each other.
Wow.
I know. I'll give
That's
you one
clever.
more example. Let me see if I
Yep.
can do this. I got to set the phone down for this. And again, my dressing room is incredibly messy. I didn't think this through. I honestly didn't think this through. I should have probably cleaned up a
It's a
little
cool
bit. All right.
background.
Well, there you go. It's pretty messy. But I'm in a tent. We're in a giant tent, so this is a portable dressing room.
Yeah.
All right, so this is something you can do also. And if
Okay.
you rewind this, listen to me, I'm old. If you rewind this, if you play back the video, you'll probably figure out how it works. But it will fool you the first time because of how you're wired. All right? So right now, put your hands out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see it.
I got
Let
it.
me see your hands.
There you go. Can you see
Put
it
your
there?
mind
There we
out.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody at home, everybody watching this, bring your thumbs down. All right?
Yeah, like that. Okay.
Move your thumbs around. Good.
Yeah.
Cross one hand over the other.
Yeah.
Interlock your fingers. Okay.
Yeah. Like that.
Can I see? I can't see. Are your thumbs
Good.
down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So now move your pinkies.
Yeah.
Okay. Now keep your hands together, and with me, bring your thumbs up and pull your hands apart. Good.
Huh?
You'll figure it out. You'll play it back, you'll figure it out. But it's how you're wired, you know? And that
Wow.
is the root of everything. And that I can use that to make a coin disappear, or to make a building vanish, or to move a volcano, or go to my website, check it all
Wow.
out. So that is the root of everything, you know?
Well, you've like completely spun me out now. I don't know how you. Yeah, well, I'll have to be watching that in like slow
Yeah,
motion now, trying to
yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. Hey, unfortunately, I gotta run. It sounds
Yeah,
ridiculous, but
absolutely no worries
things
at all.
are
But
waking up in the States now, so I have to go back to work. I'm here in Hong Kong, but I still have my business in the States.
yeah,
But
no
it's been a
worries.
pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, that brings us to the end of the half hour. And can we just quickly ask before you go,
Mhm.
what's your fondest memory of Michael Jackson?
Whoa, that's a great question. Fondest memory. Fondest memory. There are so many.
Yeah.
So many. You know, he used to, we used to go to a magic shop in Hollywood, and he didn't want to be recognized, so he would wear a mask of Michael Jackson. He would wear a rubber mask of himself,
I think that,
and nobody assumed it was him. You know, so much stuff like that. So much. But
yeah.
I mean, and they're all the same. It's what I said before. The fondest memory is just hanging out with him
Yeah.
and waking up the idea that anything is possible, that there are no limitations. There's no reason to believe anything needs to be as it is just because somebody did it one way before. And and it's a constant reminder that not only your craft and your art, but really your whole life it's a blank page. So
Mm.
it's up to you to figure out who you want to be, and then
Yeah.
just do it. And don't don't think about limitations, because the only limitations that exist are within your own mind.
Yeah.
You are your own magician, and within your mind you create this illusion of this reality that you live in. And that was a big lesson for me, and it
Yeah.
just came from just hanging out with him. So
From
yeah.
Michael Jackson. Yeah. Well, thank you so, so much, Franz. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. So your
When all this
website.
is done, yeah, send me a link or let me know how I can see
Oh,
this.
absolutely. Yeah, we'll do.
Rory Kaplan, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you on this show here, but man, I what a hoot just hearing your name. I hope all has been well, and to everybody else, and I look forward, maybe we all get together and have a big barbecue somewhere. So
Sounds like fun. Well, thank you so much. And your website is franzharary.com. Yeah?
that's it. Franz Harary. Oh, look right there on the screen.
Yeah.
Franz Harary
Like
or
that.
Franz Harary.
Oh, there.
.com,
See it.
just like that. Yeah,
Just
there it is. All
poof,
right.
like
And now with
magic.
that, and now I'm going to make this
Disappear.
camera disappear. Count of three. You ready? One,
Yeah.
two.
Where'd you go?